What's up, guys? It's Neonos here again with another video for you. It's been a while, 5 working days, a week if you like, if you don't count the weekend. But anyway, you know, I'm glad really in one perspective in which I haven't lost any sort of subscribers, because I thought that might happen, especially as a smaller channel not uploading videos. But yeah, I'm happy about that. I know that I was actually starting to get a few more views than I did you know, usually towards the time in which I stopped uploading videos, which didn't exactly help my progress. But nah, Christmas is going to be a good time, and I promise you tomorrow will be an upload of the last day of the game competition. Get your votes in now, but remember, you don't have long. If you have been keeping up to date, you would have counted down the days yourself, and there has been plenty of votes, so don't you worry about your game, because it probably will be somewhere near the top. So let's go into day 8's standings, shall we? I can't do nothing fancy for you like I was beforehand, because it would take far too long to make that in one video, because that would be, from what usually is about an 8 to 10 minute video, I'm not going to sit here and recap this many days, because it would be an hour-long video, and as you might think, yeah, people aren't going to watch that, and I'm not going to even try and do it. I wouldn't watch it myself. So yeah, so Dark Souls, XCOM and Battlefield 4 are the top 3 in day 8. Of course, day 8 being the day after day 7, in which I wasn't uploading videos at that time. But as you can see, the top 10 is very much still very similar, and you'll notice a correlation that it is very much the same top 10 throughout, but there has been sort of the top 10 to 15 changing, you know, the 11 to 15 sort of games, well, exactly, the games there moving into the top 10, and the top 10 moving outside of the top 10, and it changing up and down quite a lot, and it has been happening quite a lot. But yeah, Destiny is still rock bottom, as you might have noticed. But now, if we go into day 9, right, so it doesn't look very different. Dark Souls is at the top this time, but XCOM again is in the top 3, and Amnesia making its way up the list, and that has been very much making its way up the list ever since it was brought into this list at the first. 13th, The Crew, that's another notable thing that keeps on going up. Left 4 Dead 2 seems to be a little one of them games that's fluctuating a lot, but as for Dead Rising 3, that was actually inside the top 10, and yeah, that hasn't really done much since it's fallen outside of the top 3, except Fall. So there's day 9. How about day 10? What's the difference between day 10? Well, Amnesia is at the top, XCOM is second, and Alien Isolation is third. As you can see, The Crew yet again climbing its way up to 11th at this stage. Left 4 Dead 2 falling down to 15th, and Dead Rising 3 falling down to 22nd. Some of the notable ones I was saying about in the last video. And Five Nights at Freddy's, one of them games that seems to be up and down, outside and inside of the top 10, is back inside of the top 10. Trials Fusion is sort of hanging about that zone, but I don't know whether it can stay there for long. Your votes have to really keep that in there, and they have been keeping it in there. And Bioshock also trying to push back inside of the top 10. Did it in day 11? The answer is no. Bioshock stayed where it was, as well as The Crew. Left 4 Dead 2 managing to climb the list, and Dead Rising 3 very much bottom of sort of all the votes. It just is not going well, and it's falling even more. But Amnesia stays at the top spot, and XCOM Enemy Unknown stays in the top 3 for somewhat of a long time. It has been actually inside of the top 3. Grand Theft Auto 5 moving sort of outside of the zone in which it was comfortable in beforehand, and it has actually been outside of the top 10 for quite some time, until it got back inside of the top 10 for this week of the voting, and it has ever since been very much up there. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare also managing to keep its sort of pace, moving up, trying to get itself into a good steady routine there. So what was the difference in day 12? Well, Alien Isolation took the top spot of that day. Amnesia staying inside of the top 3, and Battlefield 4 managing to push itself back into the top 3 for the first time since it was at the number 1 spot, which it was at the number 1 spot quite comfortably until the votes didn't come in for it, really. Trials Fusion falls down again, but Five Nights at Freddy's moves considerably up the list, really being a game that was inside of the top 15 to 9 has now gone to 6th in the table, and The Crew moving up for the first time inside of the top 10. It has not gone down once, and it is looking like a really good game, and a really good game that people want to see me play, and I want to play it myself because it looks like an incredible game. Grand Theft Auto 5 moves outside of it. I don't know why it was. I believe most of the people that aren't voting for it are saying it's a bit much of a copy, even though a lot of the games on this list are copies, because you can't really find many games on YouTube that haven't been played unless they are games that really no one takes interest in, or haven't really sort of heard enough of it to gain an interest in. And that's why the big YouTubers play smaller games, because then that gets popular and it goes up the list. But of course I can't put small games on this list because I'm not a big YouTuber, am I? You probably know that from my subscribers and my video saying about how I was happy with 50. But going back to the list, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare staying where it is. Just some notable mentions, obviously. Left 4 Dead 2 managing to climb back up, Bioshock falling down a bit, Trials Fusion making its way down, Minecraft again staying at the 7th, not really moving anywhere else, Dark Souls inside of the top 5 once more, Destiny still at the bottom spot, with the bottom 4 being very much the same, apart from Dead Rising falls again, falls straight down, 25th place. It's ridiculous how it fell down there, but my god. Now this is the point in which you'll be wondering, this is the end of the video, right? This is day 12. Today, the day that I'm uploading this video, is day 13. Well, I thought, seeing as it is day 13, I might as well include day 13 on this list, and I'm sorry it's not going to be a big list, but it just makes sense, doesn't it? Because then you will get the whole outline of almost the whole week, in fact 6 days of the voting process. And of course tomorrow, if you are going to be on YouTube at Christmas, which I'm sure you won't be, but for you watching on Boxing Day, which I'm sure you will be, because Boxing Day you really don't do much, well, you'll see what games made it into the top 10 in a special video, and I'm telling you, that video will be a nice video for sure, because for one, it will be quite a feature-length video in terms of what it is, and it will very much be outlining the games and when they're going to be played. But now to day 13, today, this Christmas Eve, top Amnesia. So will it stay there for the last day of voting? It has been a very popular game since it started going up the list. Alien Isolation also inside of the top 3, along with XCOM Anywhere Unknown. And at this stage, these games are looking likely to be inside of the top 10. Dark Souls, Battlefield, Minecraft, Assassin's Creed, Trials Fusion, The Crew. They all seem to be solid. But Metro Last Light bringing itself into the first 9th place position it's got, and the first top 10 spot it's managed to claim. Five Nights at Freddy's falling, Bioshock managing to climb, and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare hitting hard and going up fast. That is possibly a contender for the top 10 tomorrow on the last day. FIFA 15 seems to be the threshold of games that will or won't make it into it, and I can tell you GTA 5 is still pretty much in that list. FIFA 15 is as well, but I wouldn't expect too much from Left 4 Dead 2, Slender, Dead Space, Fallout, Need for Speed, The Evil Within, Watch Dogs, The Walking Dead, Deus Ex, Dishonored, Dead Rising 3 or Destiny, because they are too far down the list at this stage. But don't worry, they're all honourable mentions on this list, and they have been fighting for your votes since the beginning, and The Evil Within is benefiting at this late stage. Now, it's a popular choice at this late stage, but that doesn't change anything. Do you know why? Because it can't get into the top 10. It's basically in a stage in which it's got 1 day more voting. Statistically, the most votes there's been is 5. So, in that statistics, Amnesia and Alien Isolation should be safe and secure inside of the top 10. But not only should they be safe and secure inside of the top 10, XCOM, Dark Souls and Battlefield 4 should both them, well, I don't know why I said both, but all 3 of them games should be also secured. So remember the competition. It's not going to be at the end of this video, but remember the competition. You now have the chance to win one of the top 5 games on this list, or what's looking like the top 5 games on this, but it could change tomorrow. But the top 10 looks solid, but you can change that. Five Nights at Freddy's, Bioshock, Call of Duty, GTA, FIFA 15, maybe even Left 4 Dead 2. You could still get them inside of the top 10 with your votes, but as it seems, the top 5 are pretty much secured a top 10 spot. So, is it going as you would have liked? Well, one day more today today really is the last day of voting. Do you know why? Because no one's going to be voting on Christmas Day, really, are they? Or are they, is the question, because this is very much going to be a finalish list, because there's not going to be many votes, so your vote could count hugely. And trust me, it can, it will do. The Crew, Dead Rising 3, Metro Last Light, they're all an example of what has happened at this stage. But remember, guys, keep your votes coming in, and that competition, just to outline it quickly once more for you. So you have the chance to win yourself a game, not just any game, the top game, but of course there can only be one winner of that prize. So for you voting from day 7 to day 14, you would get entered into this competition. But of course there's a little bit of an extra. The top 5 games will be on auction, almost, if you like, a free auction, because the competition states now, well, since day 7, as a matter of fact, since I threw this bonus in, that the top 5 games will need 5 owners, right? Not just one. So number one will be the guy that gets, luckily, the number 1 name out of the hat. Game number 2 will go to number 2 on that list, and so on and so forth until number 5. So keep your votes coming in, because you have a chance to win yourself a game. This prize is worth pretty much about £100-ish, depending on what games get into that top spot. But remember, it can be for any console. It could be for PC, Xbox, PlayStation, as I just said. So I don't really need to see why I could outline that again. But also, you know, if some of these games are available on the Wii U or the Wii itself, I will happily buy the games for you. And even if you're not a console, well, a powerful sort of, you know, one of them home console people, then you've got the PS Vita and the Nintendo DS, so there are plenty ways around it. So don't worry, your game will be with you, of course, unless Amnesia, which is looking like making the top 5, because that could there's only one way of getting that. But as I said, keep your votes coming in, because this isn't the end. Tomorrow is the end. Make sure you are with us till the end.